The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute professional marketing, financial, or legal advice. The social media landscape is subject to rapid technological shifts, regulatory changes, and market volatility. While the data presented is based on historical trends and current market analysis as of 2026, potential outcomes may vary based on individual strategy and platform algorithm updates. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence and consult with a qualified professional before making significant investments in digital advertising, content production, or brand shifting. The creator of this video assumes no liability for any business decisions made based on this content. Everything you thought you knew about social media is dead. If you are still obsessing over follower counts, vanity likes, or the chronological feed, you are effectively operating in a digital graveyard. As we move through 2026, the United States has officially entered the era of the post-follower economy, a paradigm shift where your audience size is no longer a predictor of your influence or your revenue. In fact, recent data suggests that over 70% of the content currently dominating US screens is delivered by neural recommendation engines that completely bypass the following list. We are witnessing the total collapse of the social graph in favor of the interest graph. If you do not adapt to the 5 platforms we are breaking down today, your digital footprint will be erased by the end of the fiscal year. This is not a drill. It is the most significant restructuring of human attention since the invention of the smartphone. Why is this happening now? For the last decade, we lived in the age of connection. You followed your friends, your family, and your favorite celebrities. But in 2026, the US consumer is suffering from what sociologists call connection fatigue. We no longer care what our high school acquaintances are eating for lunch. We care about hyper-personalized, high-utility entertainment that feels like it was whispered directly into our brains by an algorithm that knows us better than we know ourselves. This has created a high-stakes environment where the cost of consumer attention has skyrocketed by 400% compared to the 2020 baseline. Businesses are going bankrupt because they are using 2022 strategies in a 2026 world. Influencers with 5 million followers are seeing their engagement drop to near zero because they failed to realize that in 2026, every single post is a fresh audition for the algorithm. This masterclass is designed to solve the single most pressing problem facing every creator, entrepreneur, and brand in America today: the great fragmentation. Your audience is no longer in one place. They are split across fragmented, AI-driven ecosystems that reward depth over breadth. Today, we are going to dive deep into the 5 platforms that have successfully captured the American psyche this year. We will look at the historical trends that led to their dominance, the case studies of brands that pivoted early and won big, and the specific technical frameworks you need to master to ensure your message actually reaches a human being. We are moving past the surface-level tips. This is a deep dive into the architecture of modern influence. To understand where we are going, we have to look at the data of how we got here. Between 2023 and 2025, the United States saw a massive shift in data privacy laws and the integration of generative AI. This created a vacuum. Traditional platforms that relied on tracking your every move across the web were blinded. In response, the dominant platforms of 2026 built closed-loop ecosystems where the AI learns from your on-platform behavior in real time. This is why you feel like your phone is reading your mind. It isn't listening to your microphone. It is processing your micro-interactions, how long you paused on a frame, the speed at which you scrolled past a specific color palette, and the sentiment of your comments. In this first part of our 10-part series, we are setting the stage for the 5 titans. We are looking at a market where short-form video has evolved into something far more immersive, where text-based platforms have been resurrected through decentralized protocols, and where augmented reality has finally moved from a gimmick to a daily utility for the average American commuter. We will explore how the dead internet theory, the idea that most of the internet is now bots, has actually become a commercial reality that you must navigate. If you are not using synthetic media tools to scale your output, you are competing with organizations that are producing 1,000 pieces of high-quality content for every one piece you manually edit. But this isn't just about technology, it's about psychology. The US audience in 2026 is more skeptical than ever. They can smell a traditional advertisement from a mile away. The platforms dominating the charts right now are the ones that have mastered the art of invisible marketing. This is content that provides so much inherent value, entertainment, or education that the consumer doesn't even realize they are being moved through a sales funnel. We will analyze case studies of companies that transitioned from $10 million in traditional ad spin to $1 million in community-led platform growth, resulting in a 3x increase in net profit. By the time we finish this masterclass, you will have a comprehensive roadmap. You will understand why the top 1% of earners on these platforms are moving away from broad appeal and leaning into hyper-niche dominance. You will see the technical breakdown of how the 2026 algorithms weigh saves and shares over likes. And most importantly, you will know exactly which of these 5 platforms deserves 80% of your energy and which ones you should abandon immediately. The American digital landscape is a winner-take-all environment. In previous years, you could be a jack of all trades across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. In 2026, that is a recipe for total invisibility. Each of the 5 platforms we are about to discuss requires a completely different psychological approach, a different content format, and a different monetization strategy. We are going to peel back the curtain on the proprietary data that shows where the smart money is moving. We are talking about the massive migration of capital from legacy social media to these new, algorithmically superior powerhouses. If you feel overwhelmed, that is an appropriate response. The speed of change has reached a point where a year in tech is now equivalent to a decade in the pre-AI era. But within this chaos lies the greatest opportunity for wealth creation and brand building in history. The barriers to entry have never been lower, yet the barriers to being heard have never been higher. This video is your filter. It is the signal in the noise. We are going to start with the platform that has seen a 200% growth in US daily active users in the last 18 months alone. A platform that many experts predicted would fail, but has instead become the new digital town square for the most affluent demographic in the country. Prepare yourself for a level of detail you won't find anywhere else. We are going to look at the raw numbers, the cultural shifts, and the specific mechanics of the 2026 attention economy. This is the blueprint for staying relevant in an era where the only constant is disruption. Let's begin the countdown of the top 5 social media platforms dominating the United States in 2026, starting with the titan that has completely redefined what it means to be viral. Coming in at number 5 on our list is the platform that has officially transitioned from a mobile application into a comprehensive economic operating system: TikTok. By the middle of 2026, TikTok in the United States has moved far beyond the short-form entertainment cycles that defined its early years. It has successfully executed a hostile takeover of the search engine market and the e-commerce sector, creating what analysts now call the intent-based entertainment loop. To understand why TikTok remains a dominant force despite years of regulatory scrutiny and intense competition, we have to look at the historical trends that shifted between 2023 and 2025. During that window, the American consumer stopped using traditional text-based search engines for lifestyle, product, and local discovery. Today, in 2026, 68% of U.S. adults under the age of 35 start their search for a new restaurant, a technical tutorial, or a physical product directly within the TikTok search bar. Imagine you are a 30-year-old professional named Marcus living in downtown Atlanta. In 2022, if Marcus wanted to find a high-quality leather briefcase for work, he would have typed leather briefcase into a search engine, scrolled past 4 paid advertisements, and clicked on a blog post titled "The 10 Best Bags for Professionals." In 2026, Marcus opens TikTok. The algorithm already knows he recently started a new job because he engaged with career transition content 3 days ago. Before he even types a word, his search suggestions are pre-populated with high-end office gear. When he searches, he is not met with a list of links. He is met with high-definition, 30-second immersive reviews from real people in Atlanta who are showing exactly how that specific briefcase fits a laptop, how the leather ages after 6 months, and how it looks in the lighting of a local coffee shop. This is the vibe check economy in full effect. The technical backbone of this dominance is the 2026 version of the TikTok recommendation engine, which has shifted from content-based filtering to multimodal intent prediction. Historical trends show that earlier versions of the app focused on what you liked. The current version focuses on what you need. Through a process called contextual compression, the platform analyzes the visual data within every frame of a video to understand the objects, the brand logos, the geographical location, and the emotional sentiment. This allows the platform to serve Marcus a video of a briefcase not because it was tagged with a hashtag, but because the AI recognized the quality of the stitching and the professional environment in the background of the video. Consider the case study of a small business called Northern Thread, a boutique apparel brand based in Portland, Oregon. In 2024, Northern Thread was struggling with a 5% conversion rate on traditional social media ads. By early 2026, they pivoted entirely to TikTok's lip-sync commerce. Instead of traditional ads, they began using 24-hour AI-generated live streamers that look and act indistinguishable from human hosts. These digital twins can answer customer questions in real time, demonstrate the fit of a garment on different body types through augmented reality overlays, and offer personalized discount codes based on the viewer's loyalty history. The potential outcome of this shift was a 400% increase in direct-to-consumer sales within a single fiscal quarter. Northern Thread didn't just sell a product, they integrated themselves into the user's entertainment feed. Step by step, the way users interact with this platform has changed. First, there is the discovery phase driven by hyperlocal SEO. If you are a local business owner in the United States, your 2026 strategy relies on geofencing your content. TikTok now prioritizes content based on your physical proximity to the user. If a user in Miami searches for the best brunch near me, the algorithm is no longer just looking for the most popular video globally. It is looking for the most recent, high-engagement video filmed within a 5-mile radius of the user's GPS coordinates. This has forced creators and brands to think like local news stations, producing content that is relevant to specific zip codes. Second, there is the fulfillment phase. TikTok Shop has evolved into a logistics powerhouse that rivals traditional giants. In 2026, the platform utilizes a decentralized warehousing system across the United States. When a user in Dallas buys a kitchen gadget they saw in a viral video at 2 p.m., the order is often fulfilled by a local microhub and delivered by the next morning. This removal of friction is why the platform is dominating. There is no leaving the app, no entering credit card details, and no waiting 5 days for shipping. The distance between an impulse and a physical possession has been reduced to a few taps and a few hours. Third, we have to discuss the shift in content production. We have moved past the era of high-production, polished videos. In 2026, the US audience craves radical transparency. The most successful creators are using what is known as the raw feed methodology. This involves long-form, unedited segments that are chopped into highlights by the platform's internal AI tools. Imagine a creator named Chloe who runs a home renovation channel from her farm in Ohio. Instead of spending 10 hours editing a 5-minute video, she records her entire 3-hour process. TikTok's 2026 Creator Suite automatically identifies the most high-stakes moments. The moment a wall collapses, the moment the paint goes on, the final reveal, and generates dozens of optimized clips for different segments of her audience. One clip might be optimized for people interested in DIY tools, while another is optimized for people who enjoy satisfying aesthetic transformations. The data supports this massive expansion. In 2026, TikTok's average daily time spent per user in the United States has climbed to 85 minutes, surpassing almost all other forms of digital media. But it is the diversification of that time that is most telling. It is no longer just mindlessly scrolling. Users are spending 20% of that time in the Search tab, 15% in the Shop tab, and another 10% in the new Integrated Messaging and Groups tab, which has begun to eat into the market share of traditional messaging apps. However, the dominance of TikTok in 2026 is also built on a foundation of sophisticated data privacy measures that were implemented to satisfy US regulators. The platform now operates on a decentralized data architecture, where US user data is stored on domestic servers with zero-knowledge proof protocols. This means the algorithm can learn from your behavior without ever actually knowing your identity. This shift in trust has allowed the platform to move into high-sensitivity areas like health tracking and financial education. While we do not provide financial or health advice, we can observe the trend of users seeking peer-to-peer educational content on these topics. If you are a creator or a business, the takeaway for 2026 is clear. You are no longer making videos, you are feeding an ecosystem. Your goal is to provide the data points that the AI needs to categorize you as a solution to a user's problem. Whether that problem is boredom, a need for a new pair of shoes, or a desire to learn how to repair a sink, your content must be the most efficient, trustworthy, and visually compelling answer in the index. But as powerful as TikTok is for discovery and impulse, it is missing one crucial element that the American consumer is starting to crave again: long-form, high-fidelity immersion. While TikTok owns the first 60 seconds of a user's attention, there is another platform that has successfully reclaimed the living room. It has bypassed the smartphone almost entirely to become the primary source of television for the average American household. This next platform has figured out how to combine the scale of social media with the production value of Hollywood, And the way it is monetizing that attention is fundamentally different from anything we have seen before. Imagine a world where the line between a YouTuber and a major network executive has completely disappeared. In the next part, we are going to dive into the platform that currently holds the title for the highest average revenue per user in the United States and explain exactly why the 2026 version of this legacy giant is more dangerous to its competitors than ever before. That platform is YouTube. By 2026, YouTube has officially shed its skin as a mere video sharing site and has solidified its position as the primary broadcast network for the United States. While TikTok owns the fragmented, high-speed attention of the mobile screen, YouTube has executed a brilliant pincer movement to capture the most valuable real estate in the American home: the 75-inch 8K television in the living room. Historical trends between 2023 and 2025 showed a massive migration of watch time from traditional cable and even premium streaming services like Netflix toward creator-led content. In 2026, over 45% of all YouTube consumption in the US happens on a television screen. This shift has fundamentally changed the economics of the platform, turning individual creators into multimedia conglomerates that rival legacy networks in production value, reach, and trust. Imagine a typical American household in 2026. Let us look at Sarah, a 38-year-old marketing executive in suburban Chicago. It is 7:30 p.m. In 2018, Sarah might have turned on the local news or scrolled through a streaming catalog for 20 minutes before settling on a rerun. In 2026, Sarah picks up her remote and opens the YouTube app. Her home screen is not a chaotic mess of random clips. It is a curated, high-definition programming guide tailored to her specific interests. She starts with a 20-minute deep-dive documentary on sustainable architecture from a creator who has a larger production budget than the local news station. The video is rendered in native 8K, features cinematic drone footage, and includes interactive data overlays that Sarah can toggle with her remote. This is the new prime time. YouTube has effectively democratized the television industry, allowing creators to command the same level of attention that was once reserved for the Super Bowl or the Oscars. The data supporting this dominance is staggering. In 2026, the average revenue per user on YouTube for the US market has reached an all-time high, driven by the platform's sophisticated multi-layer monetization engine. We are seeing a massive shift in how brands allocate their budgets. Instead of 30-second unskippable ads that viewers resent, brands are now leaning into the integrated sponsorship model. Case studies of companies like Apex Gear, an American outdoor equipment brand, show the potential outcomes of this strategy. In 2025, Apex Gear stopped buying traditional television spots and instead partnered with 5 mid-tier adventure creators on YouTube. They didn't just ask for a shout-out, they co-produced high-fidelity travel series. Because the content was consumed on large screens in high-trust environments, the brand saw a 30% increase in brand recall compared to their previous digital-only campaigns. Step by step, the 2026 YouTube strategy for any serious player in the US market involves 3 critical pillars: cinematic retention, global localization, and the shoppable interface. First, let us look at cinematic retention. As the audience moves to the TV, the shaky vertical-style footage that works on other platforms fails here. Creators in 2026 are using AI-assisted post-production tools to upscale their content to broadcast standards. They are focusing on audio fidelity, using Dolby Atmos-enabled soundscapes to ensure that the living room experience is immersive. The algorithm now heavily weights average view duration on the TV app differently than on mobile. To succeed, your content must be capable of holding a family's attention for 30 minutes or more. Second, the global localization pillar is powered by YouTube's 2026 neural dubbing engine. This is a game-changer for US-based creators. When a creator in Los Angeles uploads a video, the platform automatically generates high-quality, AI-cloned audio tracks in 20 different languages, maintaining the creator's original tone, pitch, and emotion. This has allowed American creators to tap into global markets without extra cost, but it has also allowed them to capture the diverse, multilingual demographics within the United States more effectively. A Spanish-speaking household in Miami can watch an English-speaking tech reviewer with a perfect, real-time Spanish dub that feels native. This has expanded the total addressable market for US creators by a factor of 10. The third pillar is the shoppable interface. In 2026, the line between watching and buying has been erased. As Sarah watches her documentary on sustainable architecture, a small, non-intrusive notification appears in the corner of her TV screen. It highlights a specific smart home sensor mentioned in the video. Using her remote or a quick gesture recognized by her smart TV's camera, she can bring up a product detail page right there on the screen. She doesn't need to find her phone or type in a URL. Her shipping and payment information are already synced through her Google account. With 2 clicks of her remote, the product is ordered. This frictionless commerce is why YouTube is more dangerous to its competitors than ever. It has combined the reach of television, the data of a search engine, and the logistics of a global retailer into a single interface. But the real secret to YouTube's 2026 dominance is the institutionalization of the creator. We are no longer talking about teenagers in their bedrooms. We are talking about professional studios like the one run by a creator we will call David. David's channel focuses on American economic history. In 2026, David employs a staff of 30, including researchers, motion designers, and data analysts. His content is so respected that it is frequently cited in academic papers and used as a primary resource in U.S. high schools. YouTube has built a sophisticated membership and digital goods ecosystem that allows David to generate predictable, recurring revenue from his most loyal viewers. This isn't about chasing the next viral hit. It's about building a digital institution. The 2026 algorithm has also evolved to combat the rise of synthetic misinformation, a major concern for the U.S. public. YouTube has implemented a decentralized verification system where high-authority creators and certified organizations can vouch for the accuracy of content in real time. This has made YouTube the most trusted platform for news and education in the United States. While other platforms struggle with bot-driven chaos, YouTube has doubled down on human-centric, verified authority. For a creator or a brand, this means that your reputation is your most valuable asset. The platform rewards longevity and consistency over short-term engagement hacks. To master YouTube in 2026, you must understand the psychological shift of the viewer. They are not looking for a quick hit of dopamine. They are looking for a deep connection or a comprehensive solution. This is why we see the rise of the video essay and the masterclass format. If you can provide a 20-minute explanation of a complex topic that leaves the viewer feeling smarter, the algorithm will reward you with a level of reach that was previously impossible. We are seeing case studies of educational channels that grew from 0 to 1 million subscribers in less than a year by focusing on high-utility, long-form content that solves specific problems for the American middle class. From navigating the 2026 tax codes to understanding the latest advancements in domestic energy. As we look at the landscape, it is clear that YouTube is the anchor of the 2026 social media ecosystem. It is where the most significant cultural conversations happen, and where the largest amount of capital is exchanged. But while YouTube owns the long-form, high-intent market, there is another platform that has taken a completely different path. This third platform doesn't care about your TV or your search intent. It has captured the American imagination by leaning into something much more visceral and immediate. It has become the home of the new American subculture, a place where anonymity and hyper-niche communities have created a world that feels like the early days of the internet, but with the power of 2026 technology. Imagine a platform where the algorithm doesn't just suggest what you might like, but actually shapes the reality of the communities you belong to. A platform that has become so influential in the U.S. political and social landscape that it is now considered the unofficial fourth branch of government. In the next part, we are going to explore the platform that has mastered the art of the micro-community and explain why its unique approach to privacy and decentralization has made it the fastest-growing network for the Gen Alpha and Gen Z Plus demographics. You might think you know this platform, but the 2026 version has undergone a radical transformation that has left its rivals in the dust. That third titan is Discord. By 2026, Discord has moved far beyond its origins as a chat app for gamers and has established itself as the digital nervous system for American subcultures. While other platforms focus on the broad, performative nature of the public feed, Discord has mastered the architecture of the private space. In the United States today, we are seeing a massive retreat from the open internet. Historical trends between 2023 and 2025 indicated a rising discomfort with public discourse due to AI-driven bot swarms and the permanent nature of public mistakes. This has led to the rise of what sociologists call the digital campfire era. In 2026, the most influential conversations in the US are not happening on a timeline. They are happening in gated, high-trust communities where the barrier to entry is not just a follow button, but a demonstrated commitment to the group's values. Imagine a 19-year-old student named Jackson living in Austin, Texas. In 2022, Jackson might have spent his evenings scrolling through a social feed, passively consuming content from people he barely knew. In 2026, Jackson doesn't scroll. He participates. The third pillar is sovereignty tools. In 2026, Discord has introduced the ability for communities to own their data and their monetization models through a decentralized backend. This isn't about complex cryptocurrency. It's about simple, user-friendly tools that allow a server owner to create their own internal economy. Consider the case study of the Rust Belt Revival, a Discord community founded in 2025 by former manufacturing workers in Ohio. This community used Discord's 2026 sovereignty tools to create a micro-marketplace for specialized industrial parts. They established their own verification system for sellers, integrated a secure payment gateway that bypassed traditional high-fee processors, and even implemented a community-led dispute resolution system. The potential outcome was the creation of a self-sustaining economic zone that helped revitalize local small-scale manufacturing. By 2026, there are thousands of these sovereign digital economies operating across the United States, all hosted within the Discord ecosystem. Step by step, the 2026 Discord strategy for brands and creators is fundamentally different from the broadcast model of YouTube or TikTok. It begins with the transition from audience to community. On legacy platforms, you talk at people. On Discord, you talk with them. A brand in 2026 doesn't just post a photo of a new product. They invite their top 1% of customers into a dedicated development wing server. Here, the customers have a direct line to the designers. They can participate in live-streamed focus groups, vote on color palettes, and receive early access to products. This creates a level of brand loyalty that is essentially bulletproof. Case studies of American beauty brands show that customers who are active in a brand's Discord server have a 300% higher lifetime value than those who only engage on traditional social media. The second step is the implementation of utility gating. In 2026, the most successful Discord servers in the US are those that provide a tangible service. This could be a financial education server that provides real-time market data visualizations, or a fitness server that offers AI-powered form correction via a camera sync feature. The goal is to make the server an indispensable tool for the user's daily routine. We are seeing a historical trend where American consumers are increasingly willing to pay a monthly subscription fee for access to these high-utility, high-trust environments. Discord's internal shop has become a major revenue driver, allowing creators to sell everything from digital toolsets and exclusive AI prompts to physical merchandise that is automatically discounted for long-term server members. However, the most significant impact of Discord in 2026 is its role in the US political landscape. Because the platform allows for deep, long-form discussion and the organization of complex tasks, it has become the primary staging ground for grassroots movements. In the 2026 midterms, we saw a shift where local campaigns were won not through television ads, but through the mobilization of dedicated Discord volunteers. These volunteers use the platform to coordinate door-knocking schedules, share real-time polling data, and debunk misinformation within their local communities. This is why analysts call it the fourth branch. It is where the actual work of democracy is being digitized and decentralized. As we move toward the top of our list, it is clear that the 2026 social media landscape is defined by this tension between mass entertainment and intimate community. Discord has won the battle for intimacy. It has become the place where Americans find their tribe, their job, and their voice. But as powerful as these digital campfires are, they still rely on a screen. There is another platform that has broken the glass entirely. It has moved beyond the two-dimensional world of apps and into the three-dimensional world of our physical reality. Imagine a platform that doesn't just show you a video of a concert, but allows you to stand on the stage. A platform that doesn't just tell you the news, but lets you walk through the reconstructed scene of a historical event. The next titan on our list has successfully bridged the gap between the virtual and the physical, creating a new layer of reality that is currently being adopted by millions of Americans for everything from remote work to high-stakes surgical training. This is the platform that has turned the entire United States into a canvas for digital interaction. In the next part, we will dive into the platform that has become the king of spatial computing and explain why the 2026 version of this tech giant's ecosystem is the most ambitious social experiment in human history. That platform is the metaspatial ecosystem, specifically the 2026 iteration of Horizon OS, integrated with the legacy power of Instagram. By the second half of 2026, The United States has undergone a quiet but total revolution in how it perceives digital reality. We have officially moved past the era of the slab. The glowing glass rectangles we carried in our pockets for 20 years have been relegated to secondary devices, much like the laptop became secondary to the smartphone in 2012. Today, the dominant social experience for the American public happens 3 inches in front of their eyes. Meta has successfully parlayed its massive user base from Instagram and WhatsApp into a seamless, persistent spatial layer that sits on top of the physical world. This is not about escaping to a virtual world. It is about the virtualization of the real world. Imagine Elena, a 28-year-old freelance interior designer based in Seattle. In 2024, Elena would spend hours scrolling through Instagram Reels for inspiration, squinting at a small screen while sitting on her sofa. In 2026, Elena wears a pair of sleek, AI-integrated Ray-Ban Meta glasses that are indistinguishable from high-end fashion eyewear. As she walks through a vacant loft for a client, her social layer is active. She sees digital annotations left by other designers in the space, persistent spatial anchors that show how different furniture layouts would look in 1:1 scale. When she finds a piece of inspiration, she doesn't take a photo. She performs a Gaussian splat, a high-fidelity 3D capture that instantly uploads a photorealistic volumetric model of the object to her Instagram spatial feed. Her followers don't just see a picture of the vase she found. They can walk around it in their own living rooms using their own headsets or glasses. The technical dominance of Meta in 2026 is built on the concept of presence-based socializing. Historical trends between 2022 and 2025 showed that despite the rise of short-form video, the American public felt more isolated than ever. Meta's response was to prioritize co-presence. The 2026 algorithm no longer rewards content that simply keeps you scrolling. It rewards content that facilitates shared experiences. For example, if Elena is watching a live-streamed concert by a popular US artist, she is no longer a passive observer. She is in a spatial room with 4 of her best friends from across the country. Their codec avatars, photorealistic digital twins that mirror their real-time facial expressions and body language through onboard sensors, are standing right next to her. They can talk, laugh, and interact as if they were in the same physical venue. This has led to a fundamental shift in US social norms, where the spatial hangout has become the primary third place for a generation that is increasingly priced out of physical real estate. Step by step, the 2026 Meta strategy centers on the implementation of the world-scale mesh. This is a massive crowdsourced 3D map of the United States, built by the millions of Ray-Ban Meta users who are constantly scanning their environments in real time. For a business, this means that every physical square inch of the US is now a potential billboard or storefront. Consider the case study of a New York-based sneaker brand called Solstice. In early 2026, Solstice launched a spatial-first marketing campaign. Instead of buying physical ad space in Times Square, they placed persistent digital collectibles at specific GPS coordinates across 5 major US cities. Users wearing Meta-enabled glasses could see giant, 30-foot-tall animated sneakers floating above city landmarks. If a user walked through the digital sneaker, they were granted an exclusive digital twin for their avatar and a discount code for the physical pair. The potential outcome was a 60% increase in foot traffic to their physical retail locations, driven entirely by the spatial layer. This leads us to the new metric of the 2026 attention economy, the presence score. On legacy social media, a brand cared about impressions. In 2026, they care about dwell time within a spatial anchor. The algorithm analyzes how long a user spends physically standing near a digital object and how much they interact with it using hand tracking gestures. This has forced creators to move from being videographers to being architects of experience. Step 1 for a 2026 creator is no longer lighting a scene, it is designing a spatial interaction. If you are a fitness influencer in Los Angeles, you don't just post a workout video. You host a spatial class where your avatar is in the user's room, walking them through the movements and providing real-time form correction through a camera sync feature. This level of utility has made the Meta ecosystem indispensable for the US health and education sectors. The data for 2026 shows that Meta's hardware-software vertical integration has created a moat that is almost impossible to breach. There are currently over 40 million active Quest and Ray-Ban Meta users in the United States, and that number is growing by 15% every quarter. But the real genius of their 2026 model is the interoperability layer. Meta has opened Horizon OS to third-party hardware manufacturers, essentially becoming the Android of the face. Whether you are using a high-end enterprise headset or a pair of lightweight AR glasses from a boutique brand, you are still operating within the Meta social graph. Your friends, your memories, and your digital assets are all stored in the Meta cloud. However, this dominance has brought new challenges to the American social fabric. We are seeing a historical trend of what researchers call reality fragmentation. Because Elena sees a different digital layer than someone else walking down the same street, our shared physical reality is becoming personalized. Meta has addressed this through a feature called Community Anchors, where neighborhood groups can vote on what digital art or information is allowed to be persistent in their local physical spaces. This has turned the platform into a tool for local governance and community building, mirroring the decentralization we saw with Discord, but applying it to the physical world. As a creator or brand in 2026, ignoring the spatial layer is equivalent to ignoring the internet in 1998. You must begin by auditing your digital assets. Are your products available as high-fidelity USDZ files? Is your brand story something that can be experienced in 3D, or is it still trapped in a 2D frame? The potential outcomes for those who master spatial storytelling are immense. We are seeing case studies of real estate firms that have completely eliminated physical staging, using Meta's spatial layer to show potential buyers a fully furnished version of an empty house, resulting in a 20% faster closing rate. But even with the sheer immersive power of spatial reality, there is one platform that sits even higher on our list. While Meta has captured our eyes and our physical space, the number one platform on our list for 2026 has captured something even more valuable: our cognitive search for truth. It is the platform that has become the definitive archive of human thought, the primary source for AI training data, and the place where the fastest-moving information on the planet is verified and distributed. It has survived multiple rebrands, massive controversies, and a total overhaul of its underlying architecture to emerge as the central nervous system of global discourse. In the next part, we are going to reveal the number one social media platform dominating the United States in 2026. We will look at how it successfully integrated artificial intelligence to become a predictive engine rather than just a reactive one, and why, in an age of synthetic media and spatial illusions, this platform has become the ultimate source of truth for the American public. You might think you know who it is, but the way it is being used in 2026 will completely change your understanding of the relationship between humans and information. The number one platform dominating the United States in 2026 is X. While it was once a simple microblogging site, X has completed its transformation into the definitive everything app, serving as the primary source of real-time intelligence, financial transactions, and peer-to-peer verification for the American public. In 2026, the value of information is measured by its velocity and its verifiability. While other platforms provide entertainment or community, X provides the pulse of reality. Historical trends between 2023 and 2025 showed that during moments of national crisis, breaking news, or market volatility, the U.S. audience moved toward X at a rate that tripled the traffic of traditional news networks. Today, it is the platform where the collective human consciousness is indexed every second by advanced neural networks. Imagine Liam, a 42-year-old financial analyst living in New York City. For Liam, 2026 is a year of hypervolatility. At 9 a.m., a major supply chain disruption is reported in the Midwest. In 2020, Liam would have waited for a televised news report or a processed article from a major publication. In 2026, Liam opens X. Within seconds, his personalized Grok AI assistant has synthesized 10,000 eyewitness posts, local government alerts, and professional analyses into a 3-paragraph executive summary. He can see a real-time heat map of the disruption, filtered by verified contributors who are physically present at the scene. This is not just news. It is actionable intelligence. Liam isn't just a consumer. He is an informed participant in a global real-time network that operates faster than the traditional speed of thought. The technical core of X's 2026 dominance is the total integration of the Grok AI ecosystem with the platform's live data stream. Unlike other AI models that are trained on static datasets from 6 months ago, the 2026 version of Grok on X has zero latency access to the global conversation. This has created a feedback loop where the AI identifies emerging trends before they even become hashtags. For a business or a creator, this means the potential outcomes of your content are calculated in real time. The algorithm can predict with 80% accuracy how a specific post will resonate across different American demographics by simulating the reaction of millions of digital twins. This allows for a level of precision in messaging that has fundamentally changed the landscape of U.S. political campaigning and brand management. Step by step, the 2026 X strategy for any professional in the United States relies on the mastery of the information marketplace. The first step is establishing high-authority presence. In 2026, X has moved beyond the simple blue checkmark. Profiles are now rated by a credibility score derived from community notes. If your contributions are consistently cited as helpful and accurate by a diverse group of people with opposing viewpoints, your content is given priority in the global feed. This is the decentralized truth protocol. Case studies of independent journalists in the U.S. show that those with high community notes ratings have seen a 500% increase in reach compared to those who rely on sensationalism. The platform has effectively gamified the pursuit of accuracy, making it the most trusted environment for high-stakes information. The second step is the utilization of X payments. By 2026, X has secured money transmitter licenses in all 50 U.S. states, creating a seamless financial layer that is integrated into the social experience. Imagine Liam again. He sees a high-level educational thread about new tax regulations. At the end of the thread, the creator offers a comprehensive white paper. Liam doesn't click a link to an external site or fill out a credit card form. He taps a single button, and the transaction is completed via X's internal ledger. This frictionless economy has led to a historical trend where creators are generating 50% of their total income through microtransactions and direct tipping on X. The potential outcomes for small businesses are even more significant. We are seeing case studies of boutique American coffee roasters who manage their entire wholesale and retail business, from discovery to payment to delivery tracking, entirely within the X interface. Third, we must analyze the shift in video and audio on X. In 2026, X has become a major competitor to YouTube for long-form, high-intent video. Because the platform owns the conversation around the video, the engagement rates are significantly higher. X Spaces has also evolved into a professional broadcasting suite. Imagine a U.S. senator hosting a town hall on X Spaces. In 2026, this isn't just an audio call. It includes real-time sentiment analysis widgets on the screen, interactive polling that updates as the speaker talks, and the ability for Grok to instantly fact-check statements in a sidebar for all participants to see. This level of transparency is what the American public demands in 2026, and X is the only platform providing it at scale. The data for 2026 shows that X has captured 90% of the second screen market in the U.S. When Americans watch a live sporting event, a political debate, or a major awards show, they are on X simultaneously. But it is no longer just a second screen. For many, it is the primary experience. The platform's ability to aggregate diverse perspectives into a coherent narrative is its greatest strength. While platforms like Discord focus on the private group and TikTok focuses on the individual's interest, X focuses on the global event. It is the only place where the entire nation gathers to witness the same moment in real time, yet processes it through millions of individual filters. For creators, the 2026 revenue share model on X is the most aggressive in the industry. The platform distributes a significant portion of its ad revenue and subscription fees back to users based not just on views, but on the value of contribution. If your post sparks a high-quality debate that remains civil and informative, your payout is higher than if you post a viral but low-value meme. This is the result-oriented incentive structure. It has led to a professionalization of the platform, where experts in fields like law, medicine, and technology provide daily deep dives that rival professional journals in quality. However, the true power of X in 2026 lies in its role as the training ground for the future. Because it holds the most up-to-date archive of human interaction, it is the primary resource for training the next generation of US-based AI models. Every interaction on the platform is helping to build a more sophisticated understanding of human nuance. This has significant implications for how we understand American public opinion. Traditional polling is dead in 2026. Instead, organizations look to X's aggregate sentiment data, which provides a more accurate, real-time reflection of the national mood than any survey ever could. As we conclude this deep dive into the 5 platforms dominating the US in 2026, a clear picture emerges. We have the search and discovery power of TikTok, the cinematic immersion of YouTube, the intimate communities of Discord, the spatial reality of Meta, and the real-time intelligence of X. These 5 titans have carved up the American attention span into 5 distinct, high-value sectors. But knowing who the titans are is only half the battle. The real question is, How do you actually navigate this fragmented landscape without burning out? If you are a creator, a brand, or an entrepreneur, you are likely feeling the weight of trying to be everywhere at once. The 2026 reality is that you cannot win on all 5 platforms with the same strategy. You need a specific technical framework for cross-platform synergy. You need to know how to take a single idea and manifest it as a 30-second TikTok, a 20-minute YouTube documentary, a Discord community event, a metaspatial experience, and an X real-time thread. In the next part, we are going to break down the content multiplier framework for 2026. We will show you exactly how the top 1% of US creators are using AI orchestration tools to manage all 5 of these platforms in less than 4 hours a day. We will look at the exact workflow of a breakout brand that went from 0 to 10 million in revenue by treating these 5 platforms not as competitors, but as a single unified funnel. You are about to see the step-by-step mechanics of the 2026 multi-platform machine. The era of the manual content creator is over. In 2026, the most successful individuals and brands in the United States have realized that they are no longer in the business of making videos or writing posts. They are in the business of managing an automated content ecosystem. If you are still spending 6 hours editing a single video for one platform, you are already being outpaced by the competitors who have adopted the 2026 content multiplier framework. This framework is not about working harder. It is about utilizing the specific technical synergies between TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Meta, and X to create a self-sustaining loop of attention and conversion. To understand how this works in practice, we have to look at the workflow of a modern American entrepreneur. Imagine Alex, a 31-year-old based in Denver who runs a company called Terra Home, which specializes in sustainable modular housing. In 2022, Alex would have hired a social media manager, a video editor, and a copywriter. In 2026, Alex manages his entire digital presence with a single AI orchestration stack. His workflow begins with what we call the master seed. Every Monday morning, Alex records a 40-minute deep dive session. He isn't performing for a camera. He is effectively conducting a high-level briefing on the current state of sustainable materials, the 2026 domestic energy credits, and the structural integrity of recycled polymers. This high-fidelity recording is the raw material for his entire week of dominance across all 5 platforms. Step 1 of the 2026 multiplier process is the neural split. Alex's orchestration software, powered by the latest liquid neural networks, immediately begins to analyze the master video. It doesn't just look for loud noises or fast movement. It performs a multimodal analysis of the transcript, the emotional resonance of Alex's voice, and the density of information. Within 10 minutes, the system has identified 12 high-impact segments. It automatically reformats these for TikTok, but it does more than just crop the video to vertical. It uses generative fill to expand the environment, adds hyper-localized SEO captions that are trending in specific US cities like Austin and Seattle, and inserts relevant data visualizations that appear in 3D space around Alex's head. The potential outcome here is that Alex has 12 distinct hooks designed to capture the high-velocity search intent of the TikTok audience without ever opening an editing app. Step 2 is the intellectual anchor on YouTube. While the short-form clips are being distributed to TikTok to drive discovery, the full 40-minute briefing is uploaded to YouTube as a masterclass. But in 2026, simply uploading the video is not enough. The orchestration tool automatically generates a set of cinematic chapter markers and a companion AI-powered transcript that allows viewers to ask questions directly to the video. If a viewer in Chicago wants to know how Alex's modular homes handle extreme cold, they don't have to scroll. They type the question into the YouTube interface, and the AI points them to the exact timestamp where Alex discusses insulation ratings. This transforms the YouTube video from a passive viewing experience into an active, high-utility resource. Historical trends show that this level of interactivity increases average view duration on long-form content by 60%. Step 3 is the information velocity layer on X. Simultaneously, the core data from Alex's briefing is stripped into its most essential components. The system generates 3 distinct X threads. One is aimed at policymakers, focusing on the 2026 regulatory changes Alex mentioned. Another is aimed at potential home buyers, focusing on the cost-saving case studies. The third is a contrarian take designed to spark debate among architectural traditionalists. These threads are not just text. They include auto-generated Grok-compatible summaries that make the content highly rankable for the 2026 real-time search engine. By hitting X with 3 different angles, Alex ensures he is capturing the professional and intellectual discourse of the day. If a debate starts in the comments, his integrated AI assistant flags the most high-authority participants so Alex can personally jump in and provide a verified response, boosting his credibility score on the platform. Step 4 is the community incubation on Discord. This is where the conversion happens. In every piece of content Alex has pushed to TikTok, YouTube, and X, there is a call to action to join the Terra Home Guild on Discord. For the American consumer in 2026, the Discord server is the inner circle. Inside this server, Alex's AI orchestration tool has set up specific channels for different stages of the buyer's journey. There is a channel for the curious, where a bot trained on Alex's past videos answers basic questions. There is a channel for active clients, where spatial files of their home designs are shared. By moving his most engaged audience from the public feeds into this private ecosystem, Alex builds a level of trust that is impossible to achieve through broadcasting alone. Case studies of US-based service businesses in 2026 show that Discord members are 5 times more likely to sign a contract than those who only follow the brand on public social media. Step 5 is the spatial layer on Meta. This is the final piece of the 2026 machine. Alex takes the 3D architectural models discussed in his YouTube video and uploads them as persistent spatial anchors to Instagram. Now, when a potential customer in Florida sees one of Alex's TikToks about a modular beach house, they can click a link that opens their Ray-Ban Meta glasses or their Quest headset. They are instantly transported into a 1:1 scale model of the house. They can walk through the kitchen, feel the scale of the living room, and see exactly how the Florida sun would hit the solar glass. This isn't a 2D rendering. It is an immersive social experience. They can even invite a friend or a spouse to join them in the virtual walkthrough. This is the ultimate vibe check of 2026. It closes the gap between an abstract idea and a physical reality. The data behind this 5-step synergy is undeniable. By treating the platforms as a single funnel rather than separate silos, Alex is able to maintain a presence that suggests a marketing team of 20 people, while in reality, he is spending less than 4 hours a week on content creation. This is the 2026 efficiency frontier. However, the true power of this framework lies in the feedback loop. Each platform provides a different type of data back to Alex's orchestration tool. TikTok tells him what the general public is curious about. YouTube tells him what the serious researchers find valuable. X tells him where the professional friction points are. Discord tells him what the actual buyers need. And Meta tells him how people physically interact with his products. By the time Alex prepares his next Master Seed briefing on Monday, his AI has already synthesized all this data into a strategic report. It tells him exactly what topics he needs to cover to address the current mood of the US market. It identifies a specific trend in Phoenix where people are worried about heat-resistant materials, and it suggests he spend 5 minutes on that topic to capture a new geographic segment. This is the transition from reactive marketing to predictive influence. In 2026, you don't guess what your audience wants. The ecosystem tells you. But as efficient as this machine is, there is a hidden danger that most creators in 2026 are ignoring. In an era where AI can perfectly replicate your voice, your face, and your writing style, the only thing that remains unhackable is your radical authenticity. There is a growing movement in the United States toward verified humanism. Consumers are becoming increasingly adept at spotting the difference between an AI-orchestrated message and a genuine human moment. If your ecosystem feels too perfect, too polished, or too automated, the 2026 audience will reject it. This brings us to the most critical part of the 2026 strategy, the human-in-the-loop protocol. You cannot simply set your AI to autopilot and walk away. You must know when to break the machine. In the next part, we are going to dive into the psychology of the 2026 American consumer and explore why the most successful brands are intentionally introducing flaws, mistakes, and raw, unedited moments into their hyper-automated feeds. We will look at a shocking case study of a major US retailer that lost 40% of its engagement by becoming too efficient, and how they won it back by humanizing their AI. You are about to learn how to balance the power of the machine with the soul of the creator to ensure you don't just reach people, but actually move them. This is the paradox of the 2026 attention economy. As the tools for creation become more perfect, the American consumer's appetite for imperfection becomes more ravenous. We are currently navigating a cultural phenomenon known as the synthetic fatigue era. While the AI orchestration framework we just discussed provides the scale necessary to survive, it is the human-in-the-loop protocol that ensures you actually thrive. To understand this, Let us analyze the most significant corporate failure of early 2026. The case study of Valora Home. Valora Home, a multi-billion-dollar American furniture and lifestyle retailer, attempted a total digital transformation in late 2025. They replaced their entire creative department with a fleet of high-performance generative AI models. Their social media feeds across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube became a stream of flawless, hyper-realistic, AI-generated interiors. The lighting was perfect, the models were indistinguishable from humans, and the captions were mathematically optimized for maximum SEO reach. By February 2026, the data showed a catastrophic trend. While their reach was higher than ever due to the sheer volume of content, their conversion rate had plummeted by 42%. Why? Because the US audience developed a subconscious immunity to what they called the synthetic vibe. When every image is perfect, nothing is memorable. The American public began to associate Valora Home's content with the uncanny valley, a place where things look real but feel empty. They weren't just ignoring ads, they were actively resenting them. This is the first major lesson of 2026. Efficiency without empathy is just noise. Valora Home only managed to recover by implementing what we now call the 80/20 authenticity pivot. They kept the AI for the structural work, the scheduling, the basic rendering, the data analysis, but they rehired human creators to provide the glitch. Imagine a 34-year-old nurse in Philadelphia named Jordan. It is 11 p.m., and Jordan is decompressing after a 12-hour shift. He is scrolling through his metaspatial feed. He sees an ad for a Valora Home sofa that looks like a masterpiece of digital art. He scrolls past it instantly because his brain flags it as fake. Then he sees a shaky vertical video with slightly muffled audio. It features a real person named Sam, a warehouse manager at a Valora distribution center in New Jersey. Sam isn't a model. He is wearing a high-visibility vest and holding a phone camera. He says, "Look, I'm not supposed to be filming this, but I wanted to show you the actual fabric on the new series because the digital renders don't show how it actually holds up when you spill coffee on it." Sam then proceeds to pour a cup of lukewarm coffee on the sofa and wipes it off with a rag. The video is raw, unedited, and imperfect. Jordan stops scrolling. He watches the whole thing. He clicks the link. That is the power of the human in the loop. In 2026, Jordan trusts Sam the warehouse manager more than he trusts a $50 million AI-generated marketing campaign. Step by step, you must implement the 2026 Authenticity Protocol to avoid the Valora Home trap. The first step is the Analog Coded Content (ACC) audit. Look at your content across all 5 platforms. Is it too polished? In 2026, the most successful US brands are intentionally introducing analog signals into their digital output. This includes leaving in minor verbal stumbles in a YouTube video, using natural, non-studio lighting for TikToks, and ensuring that your X threads sound like they were written by someone with a specific, perhaps even polarizing personality. Historical trends show that the polished era of 2020 to 2024 has been replaced by the raw era of 2026. You are using the AI to find the audience, but you are using your humanity to keep them. The second step is the proof of personhood layer. As synthetic media floods the internet, the US public is looking for markers of biological origin. On X, this means leaning into the verified human badge, which requires a multi-factor biometric check. On YouTube, it means hosting unscripted, live Q&A sessions where AI cloning cannot keep up with the real-time nuance of human interaction. On Discord, it means voice-only nights where community members can hear the genuine emotion and fatigue in a creator's voice. This is why we are seeing a massive resurgence in live streaming across the United States. In 2026, a live stream is the ultimate proof that you are who you say you are. Case studies of American tech founders show that those who host a weekly, unscripted live session on X or YouTube have a 30% higher brand trust score than those who only release pre-recorded, edited content. The third step is the spatial transparency framework for Meta. When you are creating spatial content, do not just show the final product. Show the process. In 2026, users wearing AR glasses can peel back the layers of a digital object. Successful creators are allowing their followers to see the wireframe of their journey. If you are an architect, don't just show the 3D model of the house. Show the digital spatial notes you made while walking the muddy construction site. This behind-the-spatial scenes content has a higher retention rate than the finished renders because it provides a narrative that the American consumer can participate in. It makes them feel like an insider, not just a customer. Fourth, we have to discuss the glitch marketing strategy. This is a technical maneuver where you use AI to generate 90% of a campaign, but you intentionally introduce a human error. This might be a typo in a caption that leads to a funny self-correction in the comments, or a video where the creator's dog wanders into the frame and interrupts a high-level presentation. In 2026, these controlled glitches are the most effective way to break the pattern of the scroll. They signal to the viewer's brain that there is a soul behind the screen. Data from US-based boutique agencies shows that content with a controlled glitch receives 400% more comments than content that is technically perfect. The comments section becomes a place of human connection, which is the ultimate goal of any social platform. Finally, you must master the 2026 ethics of disclosure. The United States has seen a historical trend toward strict regulation of AI-labeled content. In 2026, the Digital Disclosure Act requires that any significantly synthetic content be labeled. However, the top 1% of creators are going beyond the legal requirement. They are using what is called radical transparency logs. In the description of a YouTube video or a pinned post on X, they provide a human-to-AI ratio. For example, this video was 70% human scripted, 20% AI edited, and 10% AI visualized. This level of honesty is a massive competitive advantage. It builds a trust moat that automated competitors simply cannot cross. The American consumer in 2026 is tired of being lied to. They reward the brands that tell them the truth about how the sausage is made. The potential outcome of balancing the machine with the soul is a brand that is both scalable and deeply personal. You are using the TikTok algorithm to find your niche, the YouTube masterclass to build your authority, the Discord server to incubate your community, the metaspatial layer to provide immersion, and X to maintain real-time relevance. But at the center of all of it is you, the human architect. You are the one who decides where the AI stops and where the heart begins. This is the secret to moving people in 2026. You aren't just pushing data into their eyes. You are sharing an experience with their minds. But there is one final piece to this puzzle. We have talked about the platforms, the tools, the automation, and the authenticity. But how do you actually monetize this in a way that is sustainable for the long term? In an era where attention is the most volatile currency on Earth, how do you convert that attention into a legacy asset? The 2026 economy is not just about selling products. It is about owning the value loop. In the next part, we are going to dive into the 2026 monetization matrix. We will explore how the most successful US creators are moving away from traditional AdSense and sponsorships toward sovereign revenue streams. We will look at the exact technical setup of an American creator who built a $20 million closed-loop economy that functions entirely independently of the platform's changing algorithms. You are about to learn how to make your influence platform-proof. To achieve true dominance in 2026, you must understand a concept that has become the cornerstone of American digital wealth: the end of digital sharecropping. For decades, creators and brands in the United States were effectively working as tenant farmers on land owned by tech giants. You built the audience on their platform, you followed their rules, and they took the lion's share of the profit. In 2026, the platforms we've discussed, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Meta, and X, are no longer the destination. They are the top-of-funnel infrastructure. The most successful players have moved their core business into a sovereign revenue model. This is the 2026 monetization matrix, a technical and psychological framework that ensures your income remains stable, even if an algorithm shifts or a platform disappears overnight. Imagine Maya, a 34-year-old creator based in Austin, Texas, who focuses on the intersection of artificial intelligence and urban architecture. In 2023, Maya was a successful YouTuber making $15,000 a month from ad revenue. But Maya realized that her business was fragile. If YouTube's recommendation engine changed, her income could vanish. By 2026, Maya has built a $20 million closed-loop economy. She still uses YouTube to broadcast her high-fidelity documentaries and TikTok to capture search intent, but those are merely the discovery layers. Maya's actual business lives in a proprietary ecosystem that she owns entirely. Historical trends between 2024 and 2025 showed that the most resilient creators were those who treated social media as a customer acquisition tool rather than a home. Step by step, Maya's 2026 monetization matrix works through a three-tier architecture. Tier 1 is the micro-asset layer. Using the massive reach of her X threads and TikTok clips, Maya sells low-friction digital products. We are talking about custom-trained AI style guides, spatial architectural presets for meta headsets, and hyperniche datasets. These are priced between $5 and $50. In the US market of 2026, the impulse buy has shifted from physical goods to digital utility. Maya's orchestration tools allow her to sell these assets directly within the social feeds using X payments or integrated Shopify spatial links. The potential outcome is a high-volume, automated revenue stream that covers all her operational costs before she even wakes up. Tier 2 is the membership and utility layer, which Maya hosts on her private Discord server. This is where the 2026 value loop is most evident. Maya doesn't just offer exclusive content. She offers a suite of tools. For a monthly subscription fee, her members get access to a private, fine-tuned large language model that has been trained exclusively on Maya's research and architectural philosophy. If a member is working on a project in Denver and needs to know the best sustainable materials for that specific climate, they don't ask Google. They ask Maya AI. This is the productization of expertise. By 2026, the American consumer is willing to pay a premium for vetted intelligence that is free from the hallucination and bias of general-purpose AI. Case studies of U.S. educational brands show that moving from a content-only model to a tool-based membership model can increase customer retention by over 80%. Tier 3 is the high-touch enterprise layer. This is where the top 1% of Maya's revenue is generated. Because she has established herself as a high-authority voice across the 5 major platforms, she is regularly hired by U.S. municipalities and major developers as a spatial consultant. She doesn't travel to these meetings. She hosts them in her own branded Meta Spatial Room. She charges $5,000 an hour for these sessions, where she uses her 8K spatial captures to walk stakeholders through digital twins of their proposed projects. This is the ultimate monetization of her brand authority. She used the platforms to build the trust, and she uses the sovereign infrastructure to cash the checks. But the technical mastery of 2026 monetization also requires a deep understanding of the first-party data capture. In a world of increasing privacy regulations and the death of third-party cookies, your most valuable asset is your direct line to the consumer. Maya uses a strategy called the AI opt-in. Instead of a traditional email newsletter, she offers a personalized AI briefing. When a user follows her on X or YouTube, they are invited to link their personal AI assistant to Maya's ecosystem. This allows Maya to push high-value, personalized updates directly into her audience's daily AI summaries. She doesn't have to worry about an algorithm hiding her post. She is integrated into the user's personal operating system. Historical trends indicate that this direct-to-AI integration has a 95% open rate, far surpassing any form of legacy marketing. Another critical component of the 2026 matrix is the use of synthetic licensing. Maya has created a high-fidelity digital twin of herself, including her voice and her visual likeness. She doesn't just use this for her own content. She licenses her digital self to other educational platforms and corporate training programs. If a university in California wants Maya to guest lecture in their spatial classroom, they don't need Maya to be there. They license her AI persona, which can interact with students in real time, answering questions based on Maya's actual body of work. This allows Maya to be in 1,000 places at once, generating passive income while she focuses on her next masterclass. The potential outcomes for creators who embrace synthetic licensing are staggering, as it effectively decouples their earning potential from their physical time. However, we must address the 2026 regulatory environment in the United States. To maintain this level of monetization, Maya must strictly adhere to the new Digital Commerce Act, which requires clear labeling of all AI-generated commercial products and a transparent, right-to-human option for high-ticket services. Successful U.S. brands are leaning into this transparency. Maya's contracts clearly state which parts of her consulting are AI-assisted and which parts involve her direct biological oversight. This level of professional integrity is what allows her to charge premium rates in a market flooded with low-quality, automated competition. For anyone looking to replicate Maya's success in 2026, the strategy is clear. Stop measuring your success by your follower count and start measuring it by the size of your sovereign database. How many people have you successfully moved from the public square of TikTok or X into your private vault? How much of your revenue is dependent on a platform's ad share versus your own direct-to-consumer products? The goal of the 2026 creator is to become a platform-independent entity. You want to be so valuable to your niche that if every social media app were deleted tomorrow, your audience would still find a way to pay you. This is the peak of the 2026 digital economy. It is a world where the lines between creator, software founder, and media mogul have completely blurred. We have looked at the 5 platforms that dominate the landscape, the tools that automate the workflow, the psychology of authenticity, and the matrix of monetization. You now have the full architectural plan for digital influence in the United States. But there is one final question that remains. As AI continues to evolve at an exponential rate, and as the spatial layer becomes our primary way of interacting with the world, what happens next? The landscape of 2026 is just the beginning of a much larger shift. We are approaching a singularity of attention that will fundamentally change what it even means to be a social being. In the 10th and final part of this masterclass, we are going to look beyond the immediate horizon. We will discuss the emerging technologies that are already starting to disrupt the 5 giants we've analyzed today. We will explore the post-app world that is coming in 2028 and give you the final high-stakes prediction for the future of human connection. You have the blueprint for today. Now it's time to see the map for tomorrow. The map for tomorrow begins with a fundamental shift in the architecture of the internet itself, moving from the app-centric model that has defined the last 2 decades to the agent-centric model of 2027 and 2028. While we have spent this masterclass analyzing the 5 titans of 2026, it is crucial to recognize that these platforms are currently evolving into something much more integrated. In the United States, we are approaching the era of the cognitive operating system. This is a world where the friction of switching between apps, logging into different accounts, and managing multiple feeds is eliminated by a single persistent AI agent that acts as your digital proxy. To understand the potential outcomes of this shift, we must look at how the next generation of American consumers is already beginning to bypass the traditional user interface. Imagine Ryan, a 24-year-old living in San Francisco in late 2027. Ryan rarely interacts with the TikTok or X interface directly. Instead, he has a personal AI agent, a sophisticated multimodal model that has been trained on his specific preferences, professional goals, and ethical values. When Ryan wants to know the latest developments in his industry or see what his community is discussing, he doesn't scroll. He asks his agent. The agent then performs what is known as agentic orchestration. It goes out to the 5 platforms we discussed today, negotiates with their respective APIs, filters through the noise, and synthesizes a personalized experience for Ryan. If a high-value debate is happening on X, the agent summarizes the key arguments and highlights the contributors with the highest credibility scores. If a relevant spatial experience is live on Meta, the agent prepares the headset. This shift represents the total loss of direct platform control over the user's eyeballs. The platforms of 2026 are realizing that their new customer is not the human, but the human's AI agent. This leads us to the first high-stakes prediction for the post-2026 era: the rise of the humanity premium. Historical trends show that as synthetic content becomes the baseline, the value of unhackable, biological human connection will skyrocket. In 2028, we will see a market where content that is verified as 100% human-generated, no AI assistance in the writing, editing, or visualization, will command a premium price and a higher level of trust. This is the biological counter-revolution. We are already seeing the early signs of this in the US with the growth of analog hubs and off-grid socials, where the use of any AI or recording device is strictly prohibited. For a brand or creator, the potential outcome of leaning into this humanity premium is a level of loyalty that automated systems cannot replicate. You will see a step-by-step return to the physical world, where the social media platforms of 2026 are used primarily as coordination tools for high-value offline experiences. The second major shift involves the transition from the attention economy to the intent economy. In the attention economy, platforms were designed to keep you scrolling through addictive feedback loops. In the 2028 intent economy, the goal is efficiency. Because users are interacting through agents, platforms that prioritize time-wasting or slop content will be penalized. If a platform tries to force an irrelevant ad or a low-value video on Ryan's agent, the agent will simply block that data stream. This forces platforms to become hyper-utilitarian. We will see a historical trend where the revenue models of 2026, which relied on ad impressions, will give way to intent match fees. Platforms will charge brands based on how effectively they solved a user's specific problem or fulfilled a specific request facilitated by an AI agent. This is the ultimate win for the consumer. but it requires a total restructuring of the digital advertising industry in the United States. Step by step, the move toward 2028 will involve the implementation of the Sovereign Identity Protocol. As we discussed with Discord and X, the American public is demanding more control over their personal data. In the post-app world, your social graph, the record of your friends, your reputation, and your history will no longer be owned by Meta or TikTok. It will live on a decentralized biometric ledger that you own. When you move from a spatial environment to a real-time information feed, your reputation moves with you. This creates a unified digital identity that is platform agnostic. Case studies of early decentralized social protocols suggest that this shift will lead to a massive explosion in innovation, as new startups will be able to build on top of an existing social graph without having to spend billions on user acquisition. The competition will no longer be about who has the most users, but who provides the best interface for the user's sovereign data. But the most profound and perhaps controversial prediction for the end of this decade is the emergence of the neurosocial layer. We are already seeing the first successful human trials of high-bandwidth brain-computer interfaces in the United States. While this technology is currently focused on medical applications, the historical trends of consumer electronics suggest it is only a matter of time before it enters the social sphere. By 2029 or 2030, we may see the first neural social interactions, where emotion and intent are shared directly between individuals without the need for language or screens. This is the singularity of attention we alluded to earlier. It represents the final collapse of the barrier between the self and the network. In this world, the top 5 platforms will no longer be apps on a phone or lenses in a pair of glasses. They will be neural protocols that dictate how we experience collective consciousness. To prepare for this future today, you must focus on 3 core pillars. First, the cultivation of deep narrative. AI can replicate facts and styles, but it cannot replicate a long-term, evolving human story. Whether you are a brand or an individual, your history and your evolution are your only unique assets. Second, the mastery of multimodal fluency. You must be comfortable moving between text, video, spatial 3D, and real-time audio. The 2026 machine requires all these data points to build your authority. Third, and most importantly, the building of independent infrastructure. Do not build your house on rented land. Use the platforms to find your people, but move them to a space you own as quickly as possible. The 2026 landscape is a high-speed, high-stakes environment where the rewards for those who adapt are unprecedented. We have moved past the era of social media and into the era of digital reality. The 5 platforms we have analyzed, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Meta, and X, are the pillars of this new reality. By understanding their technical nuances, their psychological triggers, and their monetization matrices, you have given yourself a significant advantage in the American market. But remember, the technology is only the vessel. The goal is, and always has been, human connection. Those who use the machine to enhance their humanity, rather than replace it, are the ones who will define the next decade. As we conclude this deep dive masterclass, it is clear that we have only scratched the surface of the transformation that is coming. The speed of AI development and the integration of spatial computing are creating a world that would have been unrecognizable just 5 years ago. You now have the blueprint for 2026. You know how to capture attention, how to build community, how to leverage the spatial layer, and how to protect your revenue. But the map for tomorrow is still being drawn. The decisions you make in the next 12 months, how you choose to use these platforms, how you choose to disclose your use of AI, and how you choose to interact with your audience will determine your place in the post-app world. The American digital frontier is open, and for the first time in history, the tools of global influence are in the hands of anyone with the discipline to master them. The era of the legacy gatekeeper is over. The era of the sovereign creator has begun. In our next series, we are going to dive even deeper into the specific AI orchestration tools that are making this future possible. We will peel back the curtain on the first fully sentient digital economies, where AI agents are not just assisting humans, but are actually creating and trading value in their own decentralized marketplaces. This is the end of social media as we know it, and the beginning of something much more profound. We will see you in the next masterclass.